So when we posted up that Jerry was going to be here with us, I did mention in the comments that we would try to answer the top 10 questions that we could. And one of our customers, that's a great client of ours, customer and a friend, his name is Don over in Illinois. He not only put a great idea in my head to ask Jerry, he also purchased one of Jerry's custom cues. Now this particular cue...
That's our favorite part.
Yeah, that's the best part about it, right? He had a question, and it was really something that I think has a lot of weight to it because I've heard this before. So as a custom cue maker, and quite frankly, an artistic custom cue maker, what is the difference between a production cue and a custom cue? And then he also wanted to know what's the difference between a custom cue and a one-of-a-kind.
I think the word custom is definitely misunderstood, and it's probably misused. I think in general, in the beginning, maybe let's say 40 years ago when custom cues started happening, it really implied, oh, the weight was going to be designed for me and the taper was going to be designed for me and it was going to be, fitted for me in a custom way, like a custom set of shoes is going to fit me custom. That's not what it means anymore, and it's not at all in the way I use it. I don't advertise Mcworter custom cues. I just advertise Mcworter cues because I think it like amplifiers and music people that make amplifiers. There's like boutique amplifier guys that build high end. So if you said high end cue maker or boutique cue maker, those kind of imply more of a specialty master craftsman. For example, the designs that I do, are designs that I do repeat or I do different variations. I don't do any custom work in terms of somebody, I just design this cue for me and I want them to build this like this and it needs to be, no. I've had the same tapers. The tapers have changed a little bit. I've had the same taper dimensions on my butt for over 30 years. I've had all of the same construction. I've had the same lengths. I do everything the way I do it. That's the way it is. So it's not custom in terms of fitting that player.
Right, but essentially, let's say, for example, for instance, this gentleman bought a deco cue, right? And you had told me when we were looking at the cues that were going to be available, you said this particular cue, you used a green, like a stabilized and stained burl, and you said this is the first time I've done this, I probably won't do that again, so this truly is a one-of-a-kind, right? So in that example right there would be other deco cues out there, but maybe, for instance, it would be a different wood combination in there.
Right.
So it would be...
Exactly.
Okay.
But the style of the design is... the way I perfected it, the way that it's the most pleasing to me, and the balance, the visual balance, artistic balance, creative balance, it's the way that I want it to be. If somebody says, I'd like this point to be a little bit longer, not going to do it. I'd like to have 3 little strips, not going to do it. I'd like this way, so the design is what it is. Now, I might change color combinations and woods and things like that, which certainly give a different feel and a different tone, emotional impact of what a cue is. But the design is not custom in the sense that certainly that the customer has any input in it. I really look at top cue makers as their artists and what they build. The reason you like what they do is because you like what they do. Don't try to change what they do. It's like going to the Beatles and saying, I like that, but could you just speed the song up a little bit more? No, that's what it is, and that's why you like it. So don't try to customize things.
Yeah, I know one thing, and it's something that I'm specifically really, really finicky about, and yours just coincidentally happen to fit perfect for what I like to play with, but the handle size. We've talked about that before. For a lot of you that are watching right now, you know that people are making cues with a slim taper or a thin taper where a lot of the old school cues would be a larger handle size. So has your handle size always been what it is now? Because I know that you're really adamant about not changing that because you believe that it creates power or...
Oh yeah, no, those dimensions have been the same for more than 30 years. Yeah, because you want that cue, when it gets too thin, it gets too whippy. We talk about deflection. You're getting deflection in the front of the cue. You're getting deflection in the middle of the cue too. So when it's fatter and it plays a little bit stiffer, and that's what I like, and that's what I do. I mean, when you get down to it, Eddie, all roads lead to I do what I want to do, and if other people like it, then that's a great plus.
Whatever you're doing is working, because when people have the opportunity to purchase your cues, they don't walk, they run, they buy them.
Yeah.
And the response has been overwhelming over here. I mean, this was a rare opportunity for us to be able to showcase some of your cues, and we've already sold over half what we put on the table, and I don't expect any more to be available. But besides the exceptionally good playability and the quality, specifically along the lines of what he was asking with, okay, let's say you take, and we don't have to name any, a run-of-the-mill production line of cues, right? Yeah. Is the main difference because they're making many of them at one time, or what would be one of the main big differences between, even though you're not calling it Mcworter custom cues, you are a custom cue maker?
Well, I think production means factory.
Yep.
It means employees. It means big numbers. It means trying to produce an item in a cost-effective way to make an affordable product. Those are all things that imply production. Custom cue makers, that's not the right word. Boutique cue makers, or artistic cue makers, are much smaller. They're putting much more time into what they're building, and they're building a much smaller number of items, and they're getting a much better price for them.
Understood.
However, because somebody is a specialty boutique cue maker doesn't mean it's a great cue. And because somebody is a production cue maker doesn't mean it's a bad cue.
I see.
I'll give you an example. Mez Cues out of Japan. Miki has been a friend of mine for decades. They make a great cue.
Yeah.
They're a production company. They produce, I don't know what the number is. It's not crazy.
Miko was playing with them and winning with them forever, and they're known, even though I don't play with production cues, I can't tell you how many people, because in my business, Crossroad Cues, we do specialize. Our niche is custom cues, right? But so many people reach out and they're asking about Mez Cues, right? And so I know that they must be doing something right. They must play good as far as that goes.
Yeah. I would venture to say, if we could find a better word than custom, you would probably adopt it. Mm-hmm. Like I say, in the amplifier business, guys that build boutique amplifiers, $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 guitar amps. Those are boutiques. They're really specialized, and they're the best of the best.
Now I've got one last question for you in regard to the fact that you are a musician and you're also a boutique cue maker, right? An artistic boutique cue maker. There you go, Mr. Mcworter.
Boutique sounds a little bougie, but we got to find a better word.
Right, exactly. Yeah. What are the similarities between high-level music instruments and a high-level pool cue?
That's a great question. You know what the number one similarity I think is?
What's that?
Professional musicians can't afford high-end stuff.
Oh.
Guys that buy $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 guitars are doctors and business owners, and that's the people that can afford the best of the best. Mm-hmm. It's not professionals. Professional musicians are playing with a guitar that they've been playing with most of the time they're playing with a guitar they've been playing with for 40 years, or that's built in the 60s or something where the quality was great. A 1963 Fender or something like that's worth more than my car, But professional musicians are playing with the pickup's got duct tape on it, and they're beat up and they're worn out. People that buy high-end guitars are business people that can afford nice things.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah.
I have heard, though, that there are similarities in regard to the type of wood species. For instance, if you were to go after a high-end violin, or you were going to build a high-end guitar, you may use a similar wood, like, for instance, a Pau Ferro, or something like Gonco Olives, or something of that nature. I don't know that they utilize that.
Yeah, they use the same woods, the same speed. We're buying from the same distributors, same importers. We're all using the same woods, and obviously the boutique guitar makers too is the design work, the fit, the finish, the ergonomic feel of the neck. Everything is just top shelf. All the pickups, the hand wound pickups, all the electronics, everything is just top shelf. It's the same in the pool cue business. Top shelf
boutique cue maker, Mr. Jerry Mcworter, hanging out at Crossroad Cues. Thanks, Jerry.